They have a new leader, Marius. He wants the blood of Celine. If they use it, the Lycan's power will be limitless.
I love Celine. She's such a badass. And I feel like in this movie, she's disillusioned in a way that we haven't seen her be before. Was it different coming into the character this time then because of that different emotional state?
Yeah, I think so. I think she's just so not, she's been so kind of betrayed or, messed over by absolutely everybody and everything in her life, and doesn't want to be a part of the war anymore, has absolutely no interest. And so getting her, back in is kind of an interesting thing, and I think the stakes for her are much more sort of emotionally the highest they've ever been. So she ends up the most vulnerable than she's been in all of the movies, which was neat.
What do you think it is about this franchise that makes people want to keep coming back to it? Because it's been, I remember watching the first movie in 2003, and now it's here.
I know it's kind of weird being obviously part of it. It's hard for me to answer that question, but I think that it very much celebrates this kind of rather tortured female, but badass energy. I think people like that.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
My favorite scene in the movie is a fight scene that you have on a frozen lake.
Mine too. That's my favorite.
I love that scene.
Yeah.
What was it like shooting that? Was any of it on location? Was it all green screen?
No, it was a really intense set that was, a full-on frozen lake thing and mountains and stuff. But it was you just fell over every time you stood up. And the fact that we managed to get the scene shot at all is a miracle.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole crew were falling over.
Yeah, there were some intense stunts in that
really
fight scene too. How much choreography was?
Loads, and the thing was, obviously you had to do quite a bit of, you had to do it in kind of pieces, so it was quite difficult. Like you'd obviously read the scene, you see what's supposed to happen, but doing it didn't feel cool at all. So I think that's also one of the reasons that it's my favorite, is that it seems like the biggest achievement.
Yeah, speaking of, it was 2003 when the first one came out. There's been so many technical advancements in film since then.
Yeah.
But all the movies have been so action oriented. Is there anything really different about making them now?
To be honest, no. I mean, I think the original Underworld had a real ethos of like, wherever we can do something practically, let's do that, overdoing it digitally, and we've tried as hard as we can to keep that the same. So I've never once in an Underworld movie been in a room with like just somebody with a tennis ball and on a stick, or you've got somebody dressed as a werewolf, sweating and dying of a heat stroke, and I remember them dragging Michael Sheen along behind a car and sort of stuck to a bit of carpet, and I love all that. I think that actually kind of shows in the movies. I think the stakes feel a little bit higher.
Yeah, and this is just a question I love to ask everybody who I interview. We're at the end of the year. You've had some serious acclaim for Love and Friendship, which is awesome. What's one movie or TV show you saw in 2016 that you really loved?
I really love Moonlight, and I have to say, I know it wasn't like necessarily the best received, but I did think everybody in The Girl on the Train did such a beautiful job acting-wise. I think the acting was really good, and I feel like there wasn't enough fuss made of like Emily and Haley and just in everyone.